Good morning, students. So today we are also doing the same, that is chapter number 4, part 3. Now in this part 3 we'll go with the three topics left with, that is first one, increase and decrease in the supply. Then after, the second topic is exceptions to the law of supply, and the last one is the price determination in the market. So these three topics we are going to see in this video. Now firstly, that is increase and decrease in the supply, students. Now here the very important one you will take into the consideration, that is when the factor other than the prices are changes. Okay, here the price is not changing, price is remaining constant, but the other factor are changing. So because of the change in the other factor, there is a increase and decrease in the supply. So both the things you need to keep in the mind, that what changes in the expansion and the contraction, and what changes in the increase and decrease in the supply. Over here the price remain constant and the other factor changes. Now if the other factors whatever changes, then it is must be in the favor of the supply. Now if it is in the favor of the supply, then there will be a increase in the supply. Now if the opposite happens, like whatever the changes are done, whatever the changes in the factors are done, if it is against the supply, then there will be a decrease in the supply. So if we can say, like, if the cost of production falls down, if the price of the factor of production also falls down, technology improves, suppliers increase, government policies must be changed some or the other way. So if these all are in the favor of the product, okay, then whatever the price of a particular goods remaining same or remaining unchanged, remaining constant, okay, so over here its supply increases towards the right hand side, that is will be, you can see, from the S1 to S3. Okay, the supply from S1 to S3, it is increasing if the factor changes are in the favor of the supply. Okay, now if another thing, that if the factor changes are against the supply, whatever, then the at the same price, we can say, now supply decreases as the entire supply curve, what will happen, goes to the left hand side from S1 to S2. Now what are the changes over here are against, that you can term it as cost of production is increasing, so it will be a costlier one. Thereafter price of the factor of production also rises, technology is becoming expansive, number of suppliers are decreasing, government policies are changing, but also against the supply of the product. It is not in the favor of the product, but it is in the against the supply of the product. So what will happen, the supply curve will move from S1 to S2. So this will be an increase and decrease in the supply. If we go with the table, so you can see over here that price of the apple in rupees is given to you people, and the supply of the apple in kgs is given to you, that is 20 is there, the price is 20, at that time the supply is 100, the price is 20, supply increasing to 200. So over here you can see the price is quite remaining constant, but why the supply is increasing and decreasing is just because of the change in the factor. If it is in the favor, then there will be an increase in the supply, and if it is against the product, then we can say there is a decrease in the supply. So over here you can see the supply of apple is increasing 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Over here in the table it is shown as. Now what you will mention as that supply, you will mention over here on the x-axis, and the price of the commodity you will mention on the y-axis. So over here you can see, firstly students, A1. Now over here you can see A, that is the 300 supply. You can see the third one, that is price of the apple is 20, at that time the supply of the apple is 300. Now you can see the price is quite fixed, but if it is in the favor, that will the supply would increase at the 500. Okay, and fourth point, you can see supply is 400, then after 500. So if it is in the favor, other factor are changing in the favor, then it will be increasing one. So from the 300 it is increasing to the 400, from S1 to S3. So it is an increase in the supply. Now what will happen, you can see the second one, that is because of the factor changes in the against the supply, then there will be a from 300 to it will be 200. So here you can see from 300 to 200, so there is a decrease in the supply accordingly to it. Okay, so price is remaining constant over here, but what is changes, factor other than the prices changes. Okay, if it is in favor it will be an increase one, if it is against then it will be a decrease in supply. So this is how you will show it out and write the examples also, which factors also, how it is helps to this, and how it is against, how it is in the favor and how it is against this. So you will mention all such things, and data, this table you need to prepare, and the diagram. Fine, if it is asked in the 5 marks, so you need to prepare all such things. Now here students, you can see the 2 points, that is exemption to the law of supply. Now over here in this exemption to the law of supply, the first one we will see with the rare goods, and second one is the perishable goods. As what we have seen in the demand also, the exemption to the law of demand, and over here it is exemption to the law of supply. Now in this you can see that rare goods, if we talked about that, the example like we can take it as ancient coins are there, ancient idols are there, original manuscripts were there, old books if we talked about, ancient handicrafts were there. These are such types that we can't make it out in this today's time. We can say it as the current production of this all, that is ancient idols, ancient coin, it is not possible. Okay, so we such goods do not have the any of the current production if it is required, and supply cannot be increase of such type of goods, because it is once made, it is made. So in this current time we cannot produce such whatever the quantity is required for that type of thing. So they are the rare goods, we can term it as. So it is termed as a exemptions to the law of supply. This is the first point. Then after the second, it is included as perishable goods. Now perishable goods, if we talked about, like the milk is there, green vegetables, fruits we talked about, okay, eggs we talked about, they are such, they cannot be stored for a longer period of time. It is consumed only also one, the consumption is done only for the one time. Okay, hence we use one time, it is quite over. So they are such, cannot be stored for a longer time, and they are not the durable one. So what will happen over here, if the price falls also, the supply is not going to be contract, because we are not going to store that perishable goods for a longer period of time, because we cannot preserve such type of thing. Hence we need to sold out that goods, हमें वो बेचना ही पड़ेगा. So in that situation we can term it as this also as one of the exemption to the law of supply, that is rare goods and the perishable goods. Okay, so these are not at all included in the factor of supply also, factor affecting the supply. Okay, so these are the two that are quite exempted from the law of supply. So it can be asked for your 2 marks or either for the 1 marks also, that state the exemption to the law of supply, or it can be asked like explain what is rare goods and explain what is perishable goods. Now the third topic students is the price determination. Now over here a price is determined, that is quite, we can term it as a stable price at which the purchasing and selling in the market can be done very much easily. Now it is not such that the only the producer is there or the seller is there who decides the price. The price determination is not done on that basis. The price determination is done on the basis of the demand and the supply in the market. So the price is quite fixed, according to which the demand and supply is equalized at one point, and that what that what how the price is determined. At the point which the demand and supply, you can see it is quite intersect at one point, that intersecting at each other, that equilibrium price we can say, and that equilibrium price is the price determination, we can say it as the price is fixed at that price where the demand and the supply both are quite equal. So over here you can see that the price is 10 at that time, the demand of the commodity is 1000. Here students by mistake it is printed price, but the second column is of the demand. Thereafter in the third you can see the supply is 200. So demand is 1000, at that time the supply is just 200 kg. So it is very much less. As and when we go further, you can see price increased to 20. This demand for the commodity is 800, but the supply didn't match that, that is quite less, only 400. Thereafter you can see the price is 30, the demand and supply at the price 30 both are equalized at one point. So the demand is also 600 and the supply also is 600. So they are quite balanced over here. Whatever the demand is there of the particular product in the market, the supply is also there of the particular product, that much only. So we can say it is a quite equilibrium price, and that price can be determined on the basis of that. Thereafter if we go further, you can see the price is 40 again, the demand is 400 and the supply is 800. Then what will be the other 400 supply, where would be? But the demand is not there of the particular product that much. So where then they must be, the producer, we can, the seller must create the stock of that. Maybe such type of goods are such that cannot be stored for a longer period of time. The demand is not there of the particular product, for the demand is just 400 and the supply is 800. After that last one you can see the price is 50 and the demand is 200 and the supply is 1000. So demand is just 200. Then what the 800, the supply is of 800 at the price of 50. So what would be done of that 800 kg? Okay, so that is main problem. So here, to overcome from all the situation, the price determined at one point, that you can see that 30 is the price, balance price or equilibrium price you can say, where the demand is also 600 and the supply is also 600. Now over here students, you can see this price, that is the 600, that is this one 30. If the price is, the demand and the supply would be 600 and 600. Now two more points you need to be remember in this price determination, that is the equilibrating process of the market and the invisible process of the market. Now first one is the equilibrating process of the market. If we say, now in that, if the price is raised, that is increased to 40, and they are quite ignoring the demand and the supply, because at the 30 price both the thing are quite equalized, but they are ignoring that. Now what will happen, the total demand over here is contracting, because decreasing you can see is just 400 and the supply is of 800. From 600 units at the price 30, it is increasing to 800 units. So the demand over here is quite lesser than compared to that of the supply. So there is a distance between over here also, between the A and C, you can see, that is the market price will have a tendency to fall back to 30 again. It must be taken to the 30, because according to the demand and the supply. So over here the gap is quite huge. So to balance out and to make the equilibrium price, the price again fall back to the 30 from the 41. So that is the equilibrating process of the market. Now another one, that is invisible process. In that, if the price is reduced by the industry to rupees 20, okay, from 30 it is gone to the 20. Now what will happen here, also they are ignoring what, demand and the supply are totally ignored. The total demand expands to 800. At 30 price it is 600, and now over here when the price will be 20, it will be, the demand is expanding to 800. 200 units it is increasing, okay, and supply over here you can see contracting, since we can see that demand is greater at the price 20 as compared to that of the supply. So you can see the distance between over here, that is D and B, that is also a huge gap between them. So Market again will have a tendency at what? They will turn to the price 30. So both the things, demand and supply, are quite intersect at each other at point E. That will be termed as your equilibrium price, and this is how the price determination is done, and price is fixed at this point if the as and when the demand and supply are equalized at one point. So according to that, the purchasing and selling can be done in the market. It is not decided by any of the one seller, but it is decided according to the demand and supply in the market. Okay students, so this is the last topic of your chapter number 4. We'll go further with the chapter number 5. If you are having any doubts in this chapter, you are free to ask whenever you need to ask. Okay, so do prepare well for this chapter. Have a nice day.